talked a little bit earlier about the workforce development and how important that is. And if you can have a strong community with strong businesses, then it helps, obviously, the social services. And I think what we forget sometimes is that sometimes it's our neighbor, right? That lost their job, or it's the waitress that we see on a regular basis at the restaurant. Her husband lost their job.
Exactly.
Or he, his spouse lost.
You really never know who it is. I mean, we've had people who were in executive positions 9 months after being let off. Your savings can burn really quick, if, you know, and so then you're in a position of needing help. So taking away the stigma of what help looks like is also something we're really focused on, because anybody needs help, and that's okay to ask for help.
A sincere thank you to Wellstar North Fulton Medical Center for its sponsorship and for fostering a healthy community where businesses can thrive.
Welcome back to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud. I'm president and CEO of Roswell Inc. We're your economic development organization here in the city of Roswell.
And I'm Ashley Allen, VP of Operations, and we have with us today some familiar guests, some new. We have Amy Gates-Stroud, the new Executive Director of North Fulton Community Charities, and with her is SaraSpring. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to be here.
All right, so I brought a prop. I got to know now what this is.
That is SaraSpring.
This is an interesting thing that popped up on my counter this weekend.
Ian.
Ian. I heard about Ian. I am so impressed, and it's a sticker.
Yep.
I didn't know the Ian origin story.
Yeah,
Ian origin story.
Ian origin story. Okay, so it started because we do a lot of events in the community, and some of the cities do not like it if you have wind feathers by the road.
Right.
The poles they do not like that at all. And so they told us, you can actually have an inflatable man instead. That's totally okay.
Whoa.
And so that is where Ian was born, so that we could still have some type of signage near the road.
Ian.
And I like alliteration, so Ian the inflatable man. And he's also on a shirt if you're really a fan.
I love that. It's hilarious that an inflatable tube man is more acceptable
than a wind feather.
Yeah. I think it was actually someone from a city that told her that
it was one of the police officers.
That was okay.
That was okay.
Probably because he doesn't count as signage.
Exactly.
We know a lot about
signage.
Cities and signage.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
SaraSpring is very creative.
So a special day. I have my mother-in-law, who's 93 from Connecticut, in with us watching today. Hey to Joan. Thanks for being here. But seriously, it's great to be sleeping with Madam President here. I'm just saying right now. Yeah. So we're very proud of you in your new adventure at North Fulton Community Charities. And I know you're going to do great things. But
I hope so. Yeah, I think I am just 8 weeks into the new role as president. It's amazing. As people know, North Fulton Community Charities has been around for a really long time. I think we're on 43 years.
43 years.
In the city, based in the city of Roswell, but serving 7 zip codes in North Fulton. And so to be able to take over an organization like this it's an honor and a privilege. And as you know, it's been a busy and exhausting first 8 weeks, but it's been amazing. I just love it so much. And I walked into an organization that is really strong and healthy.
Yep.
Staff is amazing. I get to work with really some amazing folks. And
Ian.
Yes. I met Ian, I think my first week somewhere. Yeah,
I'm impressed.
We met pretty early on in my tenure there. So I've stepped into a really amazing situation. I just couldn't be more thankful.
So tell us about some of the programs. We know that you serve so many. I mean, again, we were talking before we went live about the fact that it started at the Child Development Academy down on Grove Way, the actual physical place.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little
NFCC was,
pantry, closed closet. Yep.
And now it's this amazing organization that touches so many people.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of the numbers. We were pretty impressed.
Yeah, I'll talk about some. SaraSpring will talk about the part of the organization that she really leads. The organization has grown tremendously. So most folks know we have a main pantry, and that pantry fills about 200 plus orders a day.
A day.
Which is crazy. It's open 6 days a week, which is quite a bit more than a lot of the local pantries. So we really are there and available for folks 6 days a week. We have the thrift store next door. So the way the thrift store works is the thrift store is open to the public. Thrift store sells about 1.4 million in merchandise a year. Wow. That funding then funds other aspects of the organization I'll mention in a minute. But in addition to that, our families that are part of our Family Choice program, they get points to spend in the thrift store. And they spend the equivalent of about $700,000 a year. So it's really about a $2.1 million retail operation. The thrift store, if you haven't been there, is really pretty cool. North Fulton is an area with a lot of folks who transition from larger homes to townhomes, or, as they become empty nesters and they're cleaning out their house. So we get furniture, we get jewelry, we get,
you get
books
treasures
and clothes, really good clothes and shoes and housewares. So the quality of the merchandise is really excellent, which helps our sales. And then on the other side, we have education and workforce. So education basically means GED classes. All of these services are free. ESL classes. So each semester we have close to 300 students that come in to take ESL.
Wow.
We offer all 5 levels of ESL. We have a workforce program, and we're really pouring resources into that. So helping folks that are underemployed, unemployed, maybe their hours got cut back, recently lost a job. Maybe they just completed level 5 of their ESL training and now they're ready to step into a bigger role.
That's amazing.
So helping them find careers that make sense for them, helping them discover what training or education that they need to step into a career that they've always been interested in, but didn't either have the skills or the ability to do that. And so we're working really hard. One of our initiatives that the staff is really behind and the board is really behind is to strengthen that workforce piece.
Workforce development.
So how do we provide scholarships for apprenticeships for our students finishing their GED? How do we be sure that there's a safety net for them so that they can step into either they want to be a welder, they can step into a program like that. They want to be a nurse, they can step into a program like that. And we can provide some direction, some financial resources to help them complete that. And then we also provide financial assistance. So again, folks that maybe have lost a job or are going through some medical crisis or a sick child or parent, and they're having trouble paying their rent or their mortgage or their utilities, that money that we make from the thrift store helps us support those folks in paying their rent or paying their utilities so their power isn't shut off. So it's a really comprehensive social service organization serving North Fulton. And there's a whole other side of the organization that SaraSpring can talk about that really is a lot of fun. And I'm just starting to see more of it because this is a year-round thing that SaraSpring does. So I'll let her talk about the seasonal programs.
Yeah, we also have our seasonal programs. So those take place during financially challenging times of the year. You think back to school, getting a backpack for a high school student is priced about $120. And if you have 5 students, that's going to cost a lot for that family. Yeah. A tight budget already gets a lot tighter.
Yeah.
You think about the Thanksgiving time, right? Winter coats, children grow very quickly. Even if you're an adult and you have a jacket that you've been wearing 10 years, now it's worn out, you need a new one. It gets pretty cold up here in Georgia.
Sure.
And you think Christmas time, Toyland, that's providing toys because it's not just about the items itself, it's also about creating dignity for our families, really making sure that they feel like they can celebrate their festivities how they want to.
Talk about how Toyland works, because I think it's a little
that's pretty
different
unique.
and how around how the parents are able to really kind of select toys.
Yeah, so for Toyland specifically, and we try to use this principle for all of our programs, we want the families to have the choice. So for Toyland, we actually only invite the parents to come shop. And so they will get to pick out the toys for their children. We make sure that they have wrapping paper so that they can wrap the gifts because we want the gifts to come from the parents, not from us.
Yeah.
Same thing for our back to school. We'll invite the students to come so they can pick out their backpacks. If they're going to be carrying it for a year, we want them to be confident with it. And it's the same principle for our coats giving program. They get to try on the coats before they take it home with them. Everything we do is really giving dignity and choice back into our clients because when you're in a financial situation, you don't have a lot of choices, right? You feel like you're strapped for what you can do. So we want to give our families choices.
Well, one thing I learned most recently, since you joined, was the challenge that parents have for their kids to play sports.
Yeah.
Right? Things like cleats and baseball gloves and baseball bats and things like that that are quite expensive now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how do you get your kid and involved and stay active if you can't afford the cleats, right? And so just those kind of things are really, really important.
Yeah. Giving families choice is important. You know, I always think about, especially since I've been there, putting on that client hat and thinking about by the time you get to the point where you are going to a food pantry, you've probably really been in a bad situation potentially for a little while. And that's a hard decision to make. And it's hard to walk in there and ask for food. But one of the great things about the food pantry is that there are kiosks in the lobby. So the inventory is updated on the computer, and clients have a set amount of points based on their family size they can spend each month. So they get to select what they want. So they don't show up at a pantry and just get a bag of peanut butter and pasta and whatever else we select. They're shopping for themselves. They're choosing their items. And then there's a crew of volunteers every day in the food pantry that do the shopping and for them and bring the food out to them. And so, all of those concepts around dignity and choice is really important to NFCC. And I think SaraSpring does that really well in her seasonal programmings. But same with the thrift store. You wouldn't see a difference between our regular consumers that are shopping or our families that are using their points to shop. There's no difference. They don't have to check out at a special terminal. They don't. Yeah. So, really helping them preserve their dignity and not making them feel different is really important to us.
Well, I see that, we talked a little bit earlier about the workforce development and how important that is. And if you can have a strong community with strong businesses, then it helps, obviously, the social services. And I think what we forget sometimes is that sometimes it's our neighbor, right? That lost their job, or it's the waitress that we see on a regular basis at the restaurant. Her husband lost their job.
Exactly.
His spouse
You really
lost.
never know who it is. We've had people who were in executive positions. 9 months after being let off, your savings can burn really quick, and so then you're in a position of needing help. So taking away the stigma of what help looks like is also something we're really focused on, because anybody needs help, and that's okay to ask for help.
Well, volunteers, you said that, and I read something on one of your stat sheets, 81,000 hours.
Yeah. So we operate a core of volunteers every day, several hundred recurring volunteers. And as I've learned since I've been there are groups of volunteers that have, the Monday morning group or the Wednesday morning group that have volunteered together for years and years. And they're a real tight-knit community and family. And then there's volunteers in the thrift store. Then there's volunteers that work in the education program. All the GED tutors are volunteers. SaraSpring can talk about the number of volunteers that she has through the seasonal programming. But total last year in 2025, we had about 81,000 hours. So from an organizational perspective, that's over 80. That's 81,000 hours of volunteer, meaning over 30, about 36, 38 full-time positions, the equivalent of.
Yeah.
So from a budgetary standpoint, obviously as a president, that's really great, because we have this huge workforce that is supporting the organization on a daily basis. NFCC, and I cannot stress this enough, could not run without its volunteers.
That's right.
The staff is amazing, but we could not serve 200 people in the food pantry a day without our volunteers. It wouldn't be possible. And the seasonal programming, SaraSpring can probably give you some numbers around the number of families served. That could not run without a massive core of volunteers each time.
Yeah. For Back to School, which is our next program, we're planning to serve 560 families. And each shift has around 20 to 30 volunteers. And we'll have 2 or 3 shifts every single day. So throughout
6
all
days, basically.
All of our programs require hundreds of volunteers. And so they are the backbone of everything that we do. And we're just so grateful that they give their time so freely to us.
So speaking of back to school, what's the greatest need you need from this community for back to school right now?
Back to school, we need school supplies, most definitely. That's the backbone of the program. But specifically backpacks, high quality backpacks, because you think these students are going to be carrying it for an entire year. I know you can get really good deals on Amazon, but we want to make sure that it's one that's sturdy and won't break for the students after a month or two carrying it. So backpacks would definitely be our highest need.
Is there a place that an individual or a company can go to on your website, or is there a place that they can go?
I'm so glad you asked. We have our webpage that has all the details.
And we didn't talk about that.
I know we didn't. And we have an Amazon wish list that's been created with some of the things that we've seen. So if you go to our website, you'll find it there. You can shop straight from Amazon. It'll be mailed directly to us, so you don't have to do any of the work. Yep. And those are items that we know are good quality and are high need for us.
Did you talk about senior baskets?
Senior baskets. Yes. No, I didn't.
Seasonal program. And I think it's worth mentioning.
I'm not that old.
Yeah.
So we have a program called Senior Baskets that happens twice a year during the spring and the fall. And so that is for our senior community. Seniors can often be marginalized just because they can't work and they are living on fixed incomes. Yep. And so it's kind of a two-pronged approach. Half of it is getting our seniors necessities, whether that's canned food items. During the fall baskets, it'll be like winter gear, like for earmuffs and hats and scarves and mittens and all that jazz. But also it's to let our seniors know they're appreciated and loved. So many are homebound or sick. And so we actually will deliver the basket straight to their front door so that they can get what they need and get some fellowship with some of our volunteers. So that will happen in October. So we're really excited about that too.
I love that y'all thought of every layer of this. Like, it's not just about filling the need of the item, but it's like, how can we just make people feel better in the process too?
Yeah. And you got to volunteer to kind of lay eyes on the senior when they bring it. And, there's a really great organization, Senior Services in North Fulton. And so that sometimes is a opportunity for us to then be able to make a referral or something like that. But you kind of get eyes on that senior and make sure they're okay. Maybe they need home repairs. There are charities that do that as well to support seniors. So that helps just getting eyes on them and their house and just making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Is there a place that someone can refer a senior to this program?
Yes. So we would just ask them to come visit us. They have to be a current client. So that just means they need to have used our financial. Yep. Okay. They need to have used our financial assistance or our food pantry or any of our other programs. Once they do that, they're automatically enrolled to be able to participate. So what we do is we just call the senior, make sure that they are still wanting to receive a basket, and then they're signed up and they're good.
So we're talking about back to school, but when does the holiday kick off for the Christmas?
For Coats-giving comes first.
Coats-giving. Oh, we got one before that.
We got one before Toilet.
Well, we'll go in order. How about that?
So let's do it. Let's reorganize because we know we're going back to school.
In July, that's back to school. It'll be the third week. All of our programs for the most part are the third week of the month. Our senior fall baskets will be the first weekend of October, 1st through 3rd. Okay. Coats-giving, which is the warm winter coats, and the Thanksgiving meal will be the third week. So the week before Thanksgiving. And then Toyland will be the week before Christmas. Nice. So if you're looking to give, I've got a whole lineup for you. And then we obviously have our food pantry and our thrift shop that we're
on the regular.
That we're accepting donations all year round for.
And one of the things that's really important too about especially back to school, Coats-giving, and Toyland is the support of the churches in the community because each of those programs are based at a different church within the North Fulton community because we do not. One of our challenges is facilities, and we are growing and have grown out of our space and need some larger space and some warehouse space. But in the meantime, the churches have really stepped up to provide space for us for a week for each of these programs. Wow. So we really take over the churches.
That's what I was going to ask. Yes. Are there drives in the community that people can go to for these seasonal programs that you guys do?
So a lot of different businesses and churches do drives, which is awesome. We also collect items at our location. If you were to say, I've brought you 30 backpacks, can I drop them off? I'm happy to accept them.
SaraSpring's like, please.
Yes, please. I will take all of them.
We'll pick them up.
But the churches that are hosting the events most definitely are doing drives. So Alpharetta Presbyterian Church hosts our back to school program. St. David's Episcopal Church hosts the Coats-giving, and then Roswell Presbyterian Church hosts Toyland.
Wow.
So,
it's really amazing.
It is pretty neat to know that the faith-based community has been so supportive since day one, 43 years ago.
They're the ones that founded us.
And you're non-denominational. It's not a faith-based organization, but you are supported.
The churches play a big role. They're about they fund about 10% of the operations of the organization. They give us space. They give us volunteers. I mean, that connection with the faith community is really, really amazing.
Important.
And one of the things I didn't mention was we now have a satellite pantry in East Roswell, and
Yay.
that's actually at Bridge to Grace Church.
Oh.
So Bridge to Grace Church, if you haven't been on the East Side, is really a special place. The Pastor Dave there is amazing. And he came to NFCC and said there is a lot of food insecurity in that area. And how do we partner? And they gave us space in their parking lot. They have a beautiful garden with, I think, 16 garden beds. So we get produce from there. And that wouldn't be possible without the partnership with Bridge to Grace. And it's it's really, really cool. So if you haven't seen that, go see it, because it's really a cool satellite location.
Yeah.
Lots going on.
Well, I would say we've heard about the seasonal programs, but the thrift store and the pantry, I know we've talked a little bit about some of the items people don't think of regularly to donate, but are necessities. So what are some things that if people want to, thoughtfully, kind of strategically get items that they are donating specifically for the pantry, like what are the items that are in need? Yeah,
we struggle to get some of those bigger ticket items, things like cooking oil, olive oil, condiments, things like that. Those are always items we can use. What other things?
That was going to be my big one, is cooking oils, because that's not a very popular thing people think of, but I don't know the last time I cooked without some type of oil in the food.
It's tough.
So I would say that's like our biggest thing that we're trying to get.
And what about
more
like
of.
Personal care items? Are you guys?
Yeah, we always need personal care items.
Any type of feminine
people think
hygiene
food for
products.
Yes, people think food. That's a great point.
Shampoo,
shampoos,
toothpaste,
all of those things.
All of it. We'll utilize all of it.
Yeah,
even like diapers and feminine hygiene products.
Yeah,
we utilize everything.
Yeah, we do. And so sometimes if a community, either a business or a HOA wants to do a drive, focus on personal hygiene or focus on, sounds crazy, but focus on condiments, right? Focus on things like that people, again, don't think of. Yeah, exactly. And those are the things we don't get as often, but it's, again, it's really nice for our clients to have the choice to select those things.
That is so cool. Well, so many good things happening.
So many good things.
Ian is happening.
You'll see Ian around town.
Good. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you for
it's
having
exciting.
Us. Thank you for having
you
us.
all are, as an organization, are participating in our North Fulton or our
nonprofit leadership
academy. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Kudos on North Fulton leadership.
Thank you.
You're going to have a good time. You and Shannon.
I'm excited.
Yes, next class.
Honey, I'll see you at dinner time.
And what's the website that people can go to?
How can they find you both?
NFCChelp.org.
NFCChelp.org.
Yes.
I can even remember that.
There you go.
And there are lots of ways for businesses to plug in. It's not just financial. Yes, we need sponsorships and grant funding and things like that, but drives, coat drives and backpack drives and space. Sometimes we need space for meetings and things like that. Or if you are a workplace that, wants to help people explore career, so there are all sorts of ways to plug in for local businesses. So explore those on the website too.
Excellent.
So we always say it's a great day to do business in Roswell. It's
is.
a great day to do service.
It is.
Cheers.
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 Thank you.